Hello, movie fans and TV fans of all ages. Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. In today's episode, we're diving into the 4th of July box office numbers and the headlines from around the industry. Before we do that, give us a thumbs up if you like our video, hit that subscribe button down below, hit the bell notification button to be notified of future videos, and of course, leave us a comment on the topics we've covered and give us your thoughts and takes. Gru and the Minions set off fireworks at the box office as America celebrated its birthday. Despicable Me 4, the latest chapter in Universal and Illumination's long-running franchise about a recovering supervillain who trades world domination for a family life, dominated the competition, earning $122.6 million over its first 5 days of release and $75 million during the 3-day weekend. The movie opened on Wednesday, allowing it to fully capitalize on the 4th of July holiday. But Despicable Me's appeal transcends borders. Internationally, the film earned $106.9 million from 73 markets, bringing its global earnings to $229.5 million. Even better, Despicable Me 4 carries a relatively economical $100 million production budget, which should make it very profitable for the companies behind it, to say nothing of all the Minions merch they will sell. For context, films at Pixar and Disney, Illumination's main rival, routinely cost about $200 million to make. One of those Disney and Pixar productions, Inside Out 2, continued to be a box office juggernaut, nabbing $30 million for a second-place finish. The animated sequel about the emotional life of a teenage girl is the summer's biggest hit, earning $533.8 million domestically and $1.2 billion globally. It passed the Minions to become the 5th highest grossing animated release in history. Catering to older audiences, Paramount's A Quiet Place Day 1 earned $21 million over the weekend for a 3rd place finish, bringing the horror prequel domestic gross to a sterling $94.4 million. Box office analysts believe that the movie business is regaining its stride after a horrendous start to the summer, one that saw well-reviewed films like The Fall Guy and Furiosa flop, leaving ticket sales off nearly 28%. Things are shifting now with new installments in franchises like Despicable Me, Inside Out, A Quiet Place, and Bad Boys. Closing the gap, revenues are now down 17%. That's good news for other major studio releases such as Deadpool and Wolverine and Twisters, which are scheduled to open in theaters this month. Also opening over the Independence Day holiday, A24's Maxine, a horror thriller about a starlet targeting killer that unfolds in 1980s Hollywood, debuted to $6.7 million for a 4th place finish. While Angel Studios' Sound of Hope, the story of Possum Trot, a faith-based drama about the members of a rural church and the foster children they help, earned $3.2 million over the weekend to bring its domestic total to $6.8 million. The Utah-based Angel Studios scored an outsized hit with last summer's Sound of Freedom, which was geared at Christian audiences. It opened over the 4th of July in 2023 before earning more than $250 million. Given its modest start, don't look for Sound of Hope to come anywhere near to achieving that kind of success. Maxine also suffered from a more muted start, opening slightly below projections, which had the film debuting to a little more than $8 million. The bulk of the film's audience was comprised of men between the ages of 18 to 34, and Maxine was strongest in coastal cities like New York and Los Angeles, as well as in Austin, Texas, where Alamo Drafthouse, a movie theater chain that caters to cinephiles, over-indexed. Sony's Bad Boys, Ride or Die, the latest Will Smith and Martin Lawrence exercise in quips, pyrotechnics, and vehicular destruction, rounded out the top 5. It earned $6.5 million to bring its domestic haul to $177.4 million. Meanwhile, Kevin Costner's costly Western Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1 seems ready to amble off into the sunset without much in its saddlebags. The film, an $100 million passion project that Costner mortgaged his land to make, earned $5.5 million over the weekend, bringing its domestic total to a disastrous $22.2 million. A second installment in what is intended to one day be a 4-film series is scheduled to open in August. Costner is in production on the 3rd chapter, Though after audiences rejected the first one, questions remain about the commercial viability of his labor of love. That's not the case with Despicable Me, which has shown remarkable endurance, spawning multiple sequels and spin-offs since the first film opened in 2010. Every single one of those films has opened in first place, and the series has become virtually synonymous with the 4th of July, with nearly every installment debuting during the period. The success of Despicable Me 4 continues a hot streak for Illumination, which has fielded hits like The Secret Life of Pets, Sing, and the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and become one of the most reliable brands in movies. The latest Despicable Me adventure brings back Steve Carell as Gru and introduces new foils in the form of Will Ferrell as a French bad guy named Maxime Lemal. But it's the minions, the adorable, anarchic, gibberish-spouting creatures who have captured kids' hearts, becoming Illumination's mascot in the process. When asked if there might be more Despicable Me movies and spin-offs in the future, the studio responded decisively, absolutely, particularly after a debut like this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Would you watch another Despicable Me movie? Are you a fan of the Despicable Me movies? I actually, I liked them. I saw the first one. I think I saw the second one. I haven't watched any other ones, but I might go back and watch it. And with that, we go on to our next topic. Prime Video's Alex Cross series is finally getting a release date. The new Alex Cross series coming to Amazon Prime Video has finally been given a release date. It's been over 4 years since it was announced that Amazon Studios has ordered a TV series adaptation, the stories of the detective that James Patterson first created. The new series, simply titled Cross, is slated to star Aldous Hodge in the title role as he looks to investigate a serial killer on the loose in Washington, D.C. Fans will see Hodge do his thing as Alex Cross when Cross debuts on November 14th. After years of waiting, fans of the detective now know when the new series will be coming to Prime Video. The streaming platform has now announced the show's premiere date via a new poster in a post on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Caption, quote, "Shh, he's doing his thing." The poster features Cross standing behind some police tape with only the word Cross visible. The White House can also be seen in the background, confirming the setting of the series. Morgan Freeman previously played Alex Cross in 2 films in the past, Kiss the Girls in '97 and Along Came a Spider in 2001. Freeman's portrayal in the role generated $165 million across both movies, but sadly was not as well received critically. The character was then brought back to the big screen in 2012, with Tyler Perry stepping into the title role. The critical response to the film was primarily unfavorable, with Perry even earning a Razzie Award nomination for Worst Actor for his portrayal of Alex Cross. James Patterson himself recently spoke out about how excited he was that Hodge would play the title detective, and also praised the showrunner Ben Watkins, who is best known for his work on Burn Notice. Patterson has said that this may be his favorite adaptation of his famous character, saying, quote, "The new Alex Cross series on Amazon with Aldous Hodge, that's good. That's the first one where I can look at it and really go, yep, it's edgier, it's more realistic about police work. I really like the way that turned out." There's more good news for those excited about Alex Cross's future on screen. Ahead of the now revealed release date for its first season, Cross was renewed for a second season at Prime Video's maiden upfront presentation. With 4 years of development already under its belt and the vote of confidence from Amazon to renew the series for a second season without even one episode dropping, Cross could prove to be the next big hit for Prime, as the service recently announced one of its flagship original programs, The Boys, will be coming to an end following its 5th season. If you enjoy more book adaptations turned into spy thrillers, Prime Video is also home to the Jack Reacher series, and Amazon owns the rights to the James Bond character, with the future of that series still being decided after the departure of Daniel Craig following the No Time to Die film in 2021. The 2012 Alex Cross film is also available for rent and purchase on Amazon Prime Video for those looking to become familiar with an Alex Cross on-screen presentation. And with that, we go on to our next topic. SKYDANCE is taking over at Paramount in a $8 billion deal. SKYDANCE has gained control of Paramount in a deal worth $8 billion. Paramount is the owner of the Paramount Film and TV Studios, Paramount Plus, CBS, and cable channels including Nickelodeon, MTV, and Comedy Central. Paramount has a long list of owned intellectual properties, including Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Top Gun, and SpongeBob SquarePants. Under the agreement, SKYDANCE will invest around $8 billion in Paramount, including paying $2.4 billion for National Amusements, which controls the group. A, quote, new Paramount, valued at $28 billion, will be formed, with SKYDANCE founder and CEO David Ellison in place as CEO of the new business. SKYDANCE says it plans to enhance and reinvigorate marquee Paramount and CBS brands, while improving profitability and investing more in faster-growing digital platforms. In its note to press, SKYDANCE highlighted its video game business, which included 2 in-house developers and upcoming console Marvel and Star Wars games, as well as its Walking Dead VR game. SKYDANCE's Marvel game is Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra, helmed by Amy Hennig of Uncharted fame, and is also working on a new Star Wars game for SKYDANCE. The deal marks the end of an era for Paramount Global, one of Hollywood's oldest companies. Under the terms of the deal, Paramount's non-executive chair, Sherry Redstone, will sell her family's controlling stake in the company. Redstone said, quote, in 1987, my father, Sumner Redstone, acquired Viacom and began assembling and growing the business today known as Paramount Global. He had a vision that content was king and was always committed to delivering great content for all audiences around the world. That vision has remained at the core of Paramount's success, and our accomplishments are a direct result of the incredibly talented, creative, and dedicated individuals who work at the company. Given the changes in the industry, we want to fortify Paramount for the future, while ensuring that content remains king. Our hope is that the SKYDANCE transaction will enable Paramount's continued success in this rapidly changing environment. As a longtime production partner to Paramount, SKYDANCE knows Paramount well and has a clear strategic vision and the resources to take it to the next stage of growth. We believe in Paramount, and we always will. Paramount has said that it expects to close the deal by the summer of next year. And now on to our next topic in surprising news. Disney is developing a sequel to The Devil Wears Prada with writer Aline Brosh McKenna in talks to return. A sequel to The Devil Wears Prada is officially in development. Disney is now working on a follow-up to the 2006 classic, which saw Anne Hathaway star as an ambitious executive assistant to a deliciously evil fashion magazine editor played to perfection by Meryl Streep in one of her most iconic roles. The long-overdue sequel's announcement came alongside news that McKenna, the writer behind the first Devil Wears Prada film, is also in talks to pen the follow-up. It has not currently been confirmed whether Anne Hathaway or Meryl Streep will be returning for The Devil Wears Prada 2, but it would be fairly unusual if they didn't. It's also more than possible that other possibly returning faces may include Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci as charismatic fashion authority Nigel. Also, no word on whether filmmaker David Frankel will be returning to the director's chair for the anticipated follow-up. Disney has provided no further comment on details on the upcoming Devil Wears Prada sequel. That being said, the announcement comes just a month before the Walt Disney Company's biennial D23 Expo, which is commonly used to announce the latest projects that Disney's vast collection of studios are working on. It's quite possible that more details for The Devil Wears Prada 2, such as early casting announcements, will be shared at the event later this August. The first Devil Wears Prada film primarily follows Andy, played by Hathaway, who is fresh out of grad school and ready to start her career. She finds an unlikely jumping-off point when she starts working as an executive assistant of a reputable fashion magazine called Runway. She becomes the underling of the infamous, controlling, and authoritative Miranda, played by Meryl Streep, who rules the magazine as its editor-in-chief with an iron fist. The unique work experience starts as pure hell for Andy, but the more she works with Miranda, the more she suspects that her boss isn't quite the monster that she appears to be. Plot details for the sequel are still under wraps, and it's not currently clear if the movie will be a direct adaptation of the book's sequel, Revenge Wears Prada: The Devil's Return, That said, if you happen to be in New York anytime soon, you won't have to wait too long for more Devil Wears Prada. A Broadway musical adaptation of the beloved story is arriving on the stage soon, with new music by Elton John set to breathe new life into the story of Andy. The Devil Wears Prada 2 does not currently have a release date, but the original Devil Wears Prada is currently streaming on Max. And with that, we go on to our next topic. Zack Snyder's Justice League is receiving a theatrical release. Zack Snyder is bringing his Justice League movie to the big screen. His Justice League is the culmination of the filmmaker's DC Extended Universe, which is his loyal fan base to thank for making it happen. Fans lobbied hard to get Warner Brothers to release the Snyder Cut, which is drastically different from the Justice League audiences got to see when the movie was originally in theaters. Needing content for its HBO Max streaming service during the pandemic, Warner Brothers opened up the Snyder Cut for subscribers. Now fans will be able to pay to see Zack Snyder's Justice League in theaters. A screenshot of Zack Snyder's Vero account shows the filmmaker posting, "Want to see ZSJL on the big screen? Stay tuned for a date." While an official release date for the theatrical debut is not known, we should receive that information in the near future. Perhaps it will happen sometime this summer before kids head back to school, if we're lucky. Justice League Justice is Gray is the black and white version of Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's the same film except with a black and white color palette. Excuse me. Snyder told Minutemen, quote, "I'd like to shoot a black and white movie at some point. We're finishing right now the black and white version of Justice League, and it's called The Justice is Gray. That's why I call it Justice League Justice is Gray Edition. It's not black and white, as they say, but that's the name of the black and white version." Snyder described what is now called the Justice is Gray Edition as the most Justice League experience, in the ideal version of the movie, because the long-fabled Snyder Cut was edited in black and white. Excuse me. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, determined to ensure Superman's ultimate sacrifice was not in vain, Bruce Wayne aligns forces with Diana Prince with plans to recruit a team of metahumans to protect the world from an approaching threat of catastrophic proportions. The task proves more difficult than Bruce imagined, as each of the recruits must face the demons of their own past to transcend that which has held them back, allowing them to come together, finally forming an unprecedented League of Heroes, now united. Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Cyborg, and The Flash may be too late to save the planet from Steppenwolf, Desaad, and Darkseid and their dreadful intentions. Let me know in the comment section below. Are you going to watch Zack Snyder's Justice League movie in theaters? I plan to, actually, because it seems like you gotta watch the Snyder Cut in theaters, like a massive screen, because it was meant to be seen on the big screen, so why not? Even though it is I think it's 4 hours, so like that's gonna be brutal, but we gotta wait and see what they do. And now with that, we are going on to our next topic, which will be our weekly game of get rid of 5 US states. And of course, if you want to see more of this content, the Makeshift Project is the one that inspired me to do this segment myself. And as you can see, we've already gotten rid of 10 states. So our next 5 is going to be Louisiana. Just the state serves no purpose, honestly. Let's see. So Louisiana, and then our next one will be Washington. I think just Washington, it always rains, so it's just horrible. And you got Amazon headquarters getting built other places, so you don't really need them in Seattle anymore. I mean, you can get rid of it. And of course, next one is Nevada. I know people are going to kill me for casinos, but I mean, you could build another Las Vegas Strip somewhere else, I think, if you really wanted to. That, and then our next one's going to be Arizona. It's a freaking desert. Nobody wants to live there. So let's just get rid of it. And finally, our fifth state for this week, I'm going to get rid of... I'll go back up north. I'll get rid of Idaho. I mean, yes, it's the potato capital of the country. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Idaho. So this week, to recap, we're getting rid of Louisiana, Washington, Nevada, Arizona, and Idaho. Now let us know in the comments section below, what states would you get rid of? And do you agree with my list? And with that, we go into our review of Beverly Hills Cop, AXEL F. There's an art to crafting modern sequels to movies that otherwise put a full stop on their stories way back in the 80s or 90s. Some nail it, many don't. Fortunately, Beverly Hills Cop, AXEL F is one of the former. Smartly assembled to feel like an authentic continuation of the original trilogy rather than an arbitrary reinvention of it, Beverly Hills Cop, AXEL F is vintage Eddie Murphy set to a vintage soundtrack. When his defense attorney daughter is threatened with death unless she drops a case, Beverly Hills Cop, AXEL F sees everyone's favorite Motor City shit magnet return to the now influencer-infested streets of Beverly Hills to unravel the conspiracy at play. The story, from writer Will Beal, who coincidentally enough also co-wrote last month's equally entertaining and equally fourth Bad Boys Ride or Die, primarily pits Foley against a crew of dirty cops, and yes, it could admittedly be cut from the cloth of any number of action movies made over the last 4 or so decades. To be fair, however, it's a setup that's distinct from the original 3 Beverly Hills Cop movies, which saw Foley take on drug smugglers, gun runners, and counterfeiters. So it isn't a superficial retread of any one of them in particular. AXEL F does begin with an immediate homage to the opening moments of the original Beverly Hills Cop, reintroducing viewers to Axel himself as he cruises through Detroit in his slightly less crappy blue Chevy Nova. But it's a totally warranted indulgence that starts the movie off on the right foot. Murphy appears entirely at ease as Axel Foley for the first time since 1994. In terms of his raw screen presence, he's not as outright remarkable here as he was throughout his performance in 2019's Dolomite Is My Name, but Murphy is effectively hooked straight back into what makes Axel Foley tick. Foley remains a savvy and streetwise detective and a masterful social engineer who's still able to instantly invent brash and regularly hilarious new identities in the spur of a moment. But his overall attitude is authentically tempered by his age in 2024. Don't get me wrong, Foley is still solving crimes by the seat of his pants here. He's just a little wiser and a little more tired than he was last century. Importantly, Foley is also never the butt of the joke, nor sidelined from leading the story. And if you were as disappointed with Coming to America's family-friendly overhaul as I was, rest assured, that hasn't happened here. The roles for other returning characters from the original trilogy are mostly modest, but they reappear in nicely logical ways. Paul Reiser's Jeffrey Friedman has a pitch-perfect reintroduction, pivoting from his previous role as Foley's fellow detective to his 2024 gig as Foley's entertainingly exasperated superior officer. Judge Reinhold's Billy Rosewood doesn't get a ton of screen time, but Reinhold successfully brings Rosewood back as the sensitive Sylvester Stallone fan we remember. John Ashton is also back as the now unretired John Taggart, and it's nice to see him again, even if his role is a little undermined by his surprising uncooperativeness. Excuse me. Bronson's brief but triumphant return as Serge is a major highlight. The key new characters this time around are Joseph Gordon-Levitt's detective Bobby Abbott and Taylor Page as Foley's daughter. Gordon-Levitt is likable as a committed and observant detective who respects Foley's reputation without being intimidated by him. Page gives an assertive performance too, although her backstory is quite light, so it's a little harder to sympathize with her disdain for her dad's concern. Axel F doesn't reinvent the series' brand of action, but I honestly wouldn't have wanted it to. The combat and car chases may come off as a little convention in comparison to fellow buddy cop blockbuster Bad Boys Ride or Die, but anything more would have risked turning Axel F into a video game-inspired aberration rather than something that felt authentically like a continuation of the Beverly Hills Cop saga. As far as I'm concerned, director Mark Moley has nailed the brief in this regard. Bad Boy directors Adil RB may have pushed the boat out when shooting the fantastic action sequences of Ride or Die with their experimental and flair-filled approach, expanding on the already high kinetic style Michael Bay established in both Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2. But Axel F remains sturdily in sync with its own 80s and 90s predecessors. As Taggart barks to Rosewood late in the piece, "Shoot bad guys." Sometimes that's all I really need my action heroes to do, and there's an old school pre-shaky cam sincerity to simply having shot up stunt performers tumbling downstairs to a pulsing synth soundtrack that I find endearing. They don't nudge the needle a little at one stage with a well-executed and ludicrously low-altitude helicopter chase, but he softens the sheer improbability of it by having Foley and Abbott spend the entire sequence loudly terrified of it all going wrong. It eventually does, naturally, but that just brings on a strong contender for the most unpredictable cameo appearance of all time. You'll know it when you see it, trust me. Likewise, Lauren Bell's synth-laden score feels like it's been lifted directly from 1984. It certainly sounds in harmony with composer Harold Faltermeyer's fabulous work on the original Beverly Hills Cop and Beverly Hills Cop 2, and it plays a huge role in keeping the atmosphere of the 80s alive in Axel F. There's also several energizing retro songs throughout that, yes, are unashamedly resurrected from the original films. However, in the words of the Pointer Sisters, it's hard to say just how many things never change. Excuse me. The low-tempo trap track is a poor fit for the final car chase. For a moment, it feels like one of those YouTube edits where someone puts unexpected replacement music over your favorite movie scenes to waste your time and bandwidth. It's a small blemish, but it's an odd one considering Axel F is so rooted in 80s reverence everywhere else. So with that, I'm going to give you my final verdict. With a tone consistent with the original trilogy, a straightforward premise that creates space for fresh faces without disrespecting the main character, and a well-paced mix of comedy action and silky smooth synth riffs, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F is a highly watchable return to form for Eddie Murphy. The heat is definitely back on. So, with a 1 out of 10, I'm going to give this an 8. It's not as great as the original, and it's definitely not as bad as the third film. It was enjoyable. I mean, you really can't recreate what you had in the first film, so an 8's kind of a fair balance. And to actually finish off the segment, I'm going to rank the 4 Beverly Hills Cop movies. So starting off, you got to go with the first one. I mean, that's probably the best of the series. Eddie Murphy at his best as the Axel Foley. And then you're going to go... I'm going to go Beverly Hills Cop 2 is number 2. And then 3 will be Axel F. And then last will be number 3. Number 3 was just horrible. Like, I don't know why they approved it. Let me know what you think about Beverly Hills Cop 4 in the comment section below. Have you watched it? Have you not? Check it out today on Netflix. And now, on to our next segment. We're going to give you our thoughts on the WWE's Money in the Bank, which was just this past weekend. The men's Money in the Bank ladder match was a brutal, thrilling spectacle that had fans on the edge of their seats. The wrestlers went all out, displaying incredible athleticism and intense storytelling. Drew McIntyre's victory was a standout moment, filled with poetic justice as he threw a ladder into Jey Uso's face. This match didn't just entertain, it captivated the audience with its sheer intensity and unexpected turns. From the opening bell, the match was a non-stop barrage of high-flying moves, bone-crushing slams, and innovative use of ladders as weapons. Each participant had moments to shine, but it was McIntyre who stole the show. His fierce determination and relentless aggression were on full display, making his victory feel well-earned and significant. The crowd's reaction to each spot and near miss added to the electric atmosphere, making this one of the most memorable Money in the Bank matches in recent history. Drew McIntyre's climb to become Mr. Money in the Bank was a pivotal moment in WWE history. His win was a culmination of a long, hard-fought journey marked by resilience and determination. The victory set the stage for future high-stake events, including his promise on Raw to intervene in the Damian Priest vs. Seth Rollins match. When McIntyre officially cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, it wasn't just a typical cash-in. It led to a chaotic and dramatic triple threat match. CM Punk, who had been hiding under the ring in Toronto, emerged to seek revenge for McIntyre's previous attack in Chicago. The match escalated with Punk unleashing a brutal assault on McIntyre using chairs, cables, and even the World Heavyweight Championship belt. Damian Priest, recovering from the chaos, seized the opportunity to pin McIntyre, turning the Money in the Bank briefcase into a catalyst for the red-hot feud between Punk and McIntyre. The aftermath of McIntyre's cash-in attempt saw Punk and McIntyre's rivalry reach new heights. His rage and determination to defeat Punk were evident, creating an intense and personal storyline. The feud has become one of the most talked about in WWE, with fans eagerly anticipating each new chapter in their saga. McIntyre's involvement in the main event scene has solidified his status as a top star and a credible threat to any champion. Fans experienced a whirlwind of emotions throughout the match. While some were furious at CM Punk's interference, others appreciated the depth and complexity it added to the storyline. This match was a prime example of why wrestling can evoke such strong feelings. The unpredictability, the rivalries, and the high drama created an engaging and immersive experience. WWE's storytelling reached new heights, with each Money in the Bank briefcase treated uniquely to keep the narrative fresh and exciting. The emotional roller coaster of the match was further amplified by the participants' performances. Each wrestler brought their unique style and personality to the match, creating a dynamic and unpredictable contest. The high-stakes nature of the match, combined with the personal rivalries and dramatic moments, made for a compelling and unforgettable viewing experience. WWE's ability to blend athleticism with storytelling was on full display, showcasing why it remains one of the premier entertaining companies in the world. The Money in the Bank briefcase is often seen as a tool to build new stars, but if the winners aren't going to cash in successfully, it loses its impact. Some fans and critics have argued that the briefcase should have gone to emerging talents like Carmelo Hayes or LA Knight. However, their current trajectories wouldn't really benefit from the briefcase. McIntyre's win, on the other hand, elevated existing feuds and set the stage for more intense rivalries. This choice ensured the briefcase remained a pivotal plot device. McIntyre's victory was a calculated move by WWE to leverage his established star power while simultaneously building future storylines. By giving the briefcase to McIntyre, WWE ensured that his involvement in the main event scene would remain compelling and impactful. The decision also allowed WWE to develop other rising stars in different storylines, ensuring a balanced and dynamic roster. Briefcase's role as a storytelling tool was fully utilized, demonstrating the company's commitment to long-term narrative planning. And now let's talk about that women's Money in the Bank match. Tiffany Stratton's victory in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match added another layer of excitement to the event. Unlike previous years where the women's briefcase was quickly cashed in, Stratton's win felt special and unique. This move allows WWE to build a compelling narrative around her potential cash-in, creating anticipation and intrigue. By not rushing her cash-in, WWE ensures that Stratton's storyline remains fresh and engaging throughout the year. Stratton's win was a significant moment for the women's division, highlighting her potential as a future star. Her victory not only elevated her status, but also created opportunities for new and exciting storylines. The decision to keep the women's briefcase in play adds an element of suspense and unpredictability to the women's division, making each episode of WWE programming must watch. Stratton's journey with the briefcase will be closely followed by fans eager to see when and how she will choose to cash in. While we did have, the Money in the Bank, it's not all about the Money in the Bank matches. We still had some chaotic and engaging matches. The six-man tag team match featuring Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton against the Bloodline was a highlight of the event. Jacob Fatu emerged as a breakout star, demonstrating his dominance and resilience. His ability to withstand Randy Orton's offense and his pivotal role in securing the win for the Bloodline showcased the company's investment in his future. His performance solidified his status as a rising star, adding depth to the WWE's roster. The six-man tag team match was a showcase of athleticism, strategy, and storytelling. Each participant played their role perfectly, creating a match filled with dramatic moments and high-stakes action. Jacob Fatu's performance was particularly noteworthy as he demonstrated his potential to be a major player in WWE. His resilience and ability to deliver in high-pressure situations made him a standout performer, earning him a place in the spotlight. This match was a testament to WWE's ability to create compelling, multi-man contests that entertain and engage the audience. And now on to some sad news. John Cena announced his retirement tour, adding an emotional layer to the event, set to conclude at WrestleMania 2025. His farewell promises to be a significant storyline over the next year. His contributions to the WWE over the past 20 years has been monumental, and his final matches will undoubtedly be must-see events. Cena's retirement tour isn't just a farewell, it's a celebration of his legacy and impact on professional wrestling. Cena's retirement tour is more than just a series of matches, it's a tribute to his illustrious career. Fans will have the opportunity to see Cena perform one last time, creating a sense of nostalgia and appreciation for his contributions to WWE. Each match on his retirement tour will be an emotional and memorable event, as fans bid farewell to one of the greatest superstars in WWE history. Cena's retirement tour will be a year-long celebration, culminating in what promises to be an unforgettable match at WrestleMania 2025. And then we can't move on without discussing the Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker match. The Intercontinental Championship match between Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker also stirred controversy. Breaker's clean loss led some to believe it was a missed opportunity to elevate him further. However, Zayn's continued push as a strong Intercontinental Champion was celebrated by his fans. The match highlighted the importance of follow-up storytelling and maintaining momentum for rising stars like Breaker. WWE's handling of Breaker's character and future storylines will be crucial in determining his long-term success. Sami Zayn's victory was a testament to his resilience and skill as a performer. His ability to connect with the audience and deliver in high-stake matches has solidified his status as a top star. Braun Breaker's loss, while disappointing to some, doesn't diminish his potential. WWE's challenge will be to continue building Breaker's character and giving him opportunities to shine. The Intercontinental Championship match was a perfect example of the delicate balance WWE must maintain between elevating established stars and developing new talent. Overall, the men's Money in the Bank ladder match and the entire event was highly entertaining. From intense rivalries and chaotic matches to emotional announcements and rising stars, WWE delivered a show that will be remembered for its high stakes and dramatic storytelling. The strategic use of the Money in the Bank briefcases, the elevation of existing feuds, and the introduction of new storylines ensured that the event had something for every fan. As WWE heads into SummerSlam and beyond, the story set in motion at Money in the Bank will continue to unfold, keeping fans engaged and excited for what's to come. If you haven't seen it yet, you can check out the replay on Peacock and let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And with that, we go on to our next topic, where we're actually going to play a game. You have $15 to spend to survive a zombie apocalypse. Level 1 is your weapon. For $5, you can buy a ray gun, $4 a lightsaber, $3 a katana, $2 a spike bat, $1 is an umbrella. So for me, I'm gonna go with a katana for $2. And at level 2, you have your teammate. For $5, you have a Navy SEAL. $4, you have John Cena. $3, you have Sonic. And $1, you have Will Ferrell. Yeah. So with that, I'm gonna go with let's see. I'm gonna go with dude, that is tough. I'm gonna go with a Navy SEAL for $5. So to keep track, we are at $7. And level 3 is your item. You can have super speed for $5. $4 is a taser, $3 is a speedboat, $2 is knight armor, and $1 is a chain. Speedboat you can't really use everywhere. Super speed, no. Let's see. Might be crazy, but I'm gonna go with just the chain. I feel like my Navy SEAL partner can use that in some way. So for level 4 is our home base. $5 is a completely stocked survival bunker. $4 is a lighthouse. $3 is a clock tower. $2 a water tower, and $1 is a telephone booth. So I'm going to go with, let's see. You know what? I got the money for it. Let's go home base. Or bunker, I mean. Our home base is going to be bunker. Let me know in the comment section below what you would do. Let me know what weapons you picked, teammates, what was your item, and what you chose for a home base. Let me know in the comment section. And in the next episode, I might actually feature them. And with that, we'd like to remind you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Just search the Cinema Gold Show. And if you like our content and want to support us, consider buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll catch you next time.